This is Motherwell Daft. I'm Crofty in Canada. And there's no Peter this week because he's on a cruise. So he has been replaced by a very handsome man, Craig Alexander Rattray. Now, Lanarkshire's looking good tonight, is it not?
It's one of the best days we've had in Wishaw for a couple of years, Crofty.
So we should say that, tell everybody where you are. Tell us where you're from and all that nonsense. Give us a bit of background.
Originally born and bred, actually started in Newmains, moved to Cambusnethan, so I lived in Wishaw until late 30s, moved to south side of Glasgow, and 15 months ago I relocated to Crete in Greece, so an island in the south of Greece. I've been here for 15 months, and it's fabulous.
It's roughly the same time I've been in Canada, actually. So
it's you went just before me.
Yeah, expats still keeping an eye on the club. Before we get to Freiburg and we talk about, we kind of gloss over what happened in against Steny on Sunday, but let's find out your Motherwell journey, because it's good to get real fans, expats as well, that are still keeping an eye on the club and how they fell in love with the mighty Steelmen.
Well, I saw my first game when I was about 5, and my father and 5 of his friends had all bought season tickets. And I can still remember row W in the main stand, and it was seats something like 42, 43 to about 47. And I got to go to a couple of games round about when I was 5, a few more when I was 6. And as I got a bit older, they started taking me to all of the games except Hibs, Hearts and Rangers Celtic. And by the time I think I was 8, maybe 9, I had my own season ticket. And from the age of about 12, I started going to most of the away games as well with a few friends. And I even worked on the gates for a couple of years when I was a student. And the best year was clearly 1991. I saw every game in the Cup except the first round where we beat Aberdeen up at Pittodrie. I was at every game, culminating in that marvellous day at Hampden. It's actually one of the most draining days of my life, looking back on it, because it meant a lot. And I was actually quite frustrated that day as well, because we had all these hangers-on, people who had never seen a Motherwell game for many, many years, and then it was like the hardcore of the real fans. But hey, it was a marvellous day, and I've still got the video.
Brilliant.
See the greatest. And actually, when Stevie Kirk came off the bus at Fir Park, I was the first person to shake his hand. He came off holding the cup. And it was a brilliant. The highlight of my Motherwell career.
The cup final, it's probably my highlight as well. I remember how it transformed the whole town, the whole of Motherwell. And I think that's why I think that's why there was lots of people that went to the cup final, because it captured the imagination of everybody, didn't it?
I think it was one of those things, if you're a Celtic fan or a Rangers fan, it happened every year and sometimes twice a year. When I grew up, I had about 12 close friends, okay? 10 of them Rangers fans, 1 a Celtic fan, and myself. Now, the only ones that went to the games were me and Paul, the Celtic fan. The Rangers fans never went to the game. So to get something like that was just so special. I've been following Motherwell at that time, 15, 16 years. So to get to a cup final was a really big thing.
Yeah. No, it was a massive day, and you'd be hard pushed to find a day better than that. So you worked on the gates. I actually was a steward at one point when I was in my kind of 16, 17, 18. Well, I must have been 18 actually. But I did the stewarding in the main stand, and that was fun until they put me at the back door and I couldn't see the game.
I covered that at one point. I did it when I was sort of, I think 19, 20, 21 for 2-3 years, and occasionally you got to do the transfer gate, which was a real pain in the ass because you had to stay for the whole game. Other than that, you were normally finished at 3:20 and you got to see the game. Yeah.
No, it was great. I mean, basically, if anything happened there's a family section I was in, so it was it was so tame. Do you know what I mean? So I got the chance to see the game every week and get a few quid for it. It wasn't much, obviously, but then had the chance to go on and do host the hospitality for a season and a bit, which was good fun. So Peter and I often talk about that as well. So it's when you've done stuff like that, you become even more connected because you meet people behind the club, and what
Yes.
a family club it is as well. So let's get to watching Motherwell from afar. And last season, did you enjoy last season in particular?
I think what I really enjoyed was the quality of the football. I don't watch a huge amount of Scottish football now. I've got Cosmo T, and that you get the English games, get the Scottish games. Virtually all the English games are on, regardless of what time. The Scottish games as well. You typically get them too, but not all of them. And if Motherwell are playing, I'll watch the game. But just watching it was like the difference in class from the stuff we used to watch many years ago. It was the free flowing football. One touch, two touch, great to watch. And even this season, again, I've watched the highlights on YouTube of all of the games other than the first leg of the first European game. The quality is outstanding. It's absolutely fantastic.
I mean, I think I have to say the new manager's come in, and obviously Askew was going to be a tough person to replace. But fair play to the club. They've went out and they've got somebody who's, adopting a similar style, made some really, really decent signings so far as well. They're looking good. And he's all about the kind of young players coming through the academy. That we found that out against Steny, of course, on Sunday, because he had a good few of them playing. 8 changes, but I think there was 5 academy players played for the start. But I'll tell you something, that even the players that weren't straight out of the academy, the ones that turn up each week, they found it really difficult on that surface as well. So I'm not going to dwell on it, but it was disappointing to go out a cup that we do fancy our chances in every year.
Yeah. I was watching it on BBC. It wasn't none of those games were on TV at the weekend. Rangers St Mirren was on later, I think. So I was watching on BBC, and I saw 0-0 with about 10 minutes to go in extra time. And next time I looked, gone, because that was a real opportunity. Because I don't think there's any teams out there that should frighten Motherwell in terms of Scottish football now, because the quality, it's not particularly good. Even if you look at Celtic, who won the league last season, and I watched a few of their games and highlights. There's nothing particularly special about them, and I think that's the thing I loved about just watching some of the Motherwell games and the results last season, that they weren't scared of anybody, and they played the same football regardless of who they were playing and where they were playing. Didn't matter, was Ibrox, Parkhead, whatever, and I think that's something really good for the club. Because it's difficult for a club like Motherwell, where you're changing manager regularly because they've done well, or you're losing 3, 4, 5 of your best players, so you're almost rebuilding every season. And to keep that level of consistency and similar football has just been it's outstanding. It's a real credit to the club.
No, apart from Steny, things are looking bright, I must admit, this season. You need to get yourself a Motherwell TV a broad pass, and you'll be able to see all the games. Because I'm still, even though I'm over here, I still never miss a game. I absolutely love watching them. But just back to the way we played last year. The other good thing I liked about the way the manager set the team up was fearless. And even when we did lose a goal, we still played the same football. We did not panic, which is something where, as Motherwell fans, we weren't really used to seeing for a while anyway.
Yeah, if you think, we've recently lost a real legend of the game in Kevin Keegan. And if you go back to the way Keegan played football, it was that free-flowing football. Fine, if you score 2, we'll score 3. You score 3, we'll score 4. Okay, you can't do that every game, but I think for the fans to get that level of entertainment is great.
The thing is, I mean, I've always said to Peter anyway, that I think to replace Askew was going to be really difficult, but I have to hold my hand up and say the club's recruitment policy. This guy looks like he's going to take us forward. It might take him a season to get the team settled and all that kind of stuff, and we have to give him that time. But so far, so good. I mean, I was thinking that looking at, and I know you messaged me about this, Barry Ferguson would have been somebody that could come in and steady the ship, which didn't go down very well with anybody else apart from me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I think you must have. I don't know what you were doing in Canada that day, but I think you were miles off, and unfortunately, it not happened. But the thing that does concern me about I don't know if you're calling him Alfie or Alfred, but the thing that concerns me is how did I end up being more than 20 years older than the Motherwell manager when I
I know.
expected to be about 70 by the time that happened? That's a
I know.
worry.
Yeah, I know. I'm 18 years older than the Motherwell manager, and Peter and I were talking about this not that long ago. Do you know what I mean? It's some of these young players coming through.
Yeah.
We could technically probably, well, you could anyway technically be their granddad.
Yeah, well, I've got a grandson who's 12. My own grandson's 9, so it's not too far away.
Could I mean it's crazy, but
It's
I must
great.
admit that. I mean, I'm excited about some of these players coming through the academy as well, and I think it's unfair to judge them on the Stenhousemuir pitch, which was atrocious, man. It was absolutely terrible. We can't blame the pitch, but it was a terrible pitch to play on, and everybody found it hard to keep up the pace. So the game's on Thursday. It's a 7:30 kickoff. Of course, it's a home game. By the way, just if you're going to Mrs. Bailey's Bar, Niamh Morris, a Bellsill local singer, is going to be performing. It's all happening for the Freiburg game. So it's going to be a good atmosphere there as well. I was looking at Freiburg as well, and this is where the Bundesliga really comes into play. Even though they were in the Europa final against Aston Villa, get beat 3-0 last season, they finished 7th in the Bundesliga, 7th, and that's what got them into the Conference League. It's going to be tough for us to win this over 2 legs, but it's not impossible. I have to tell you this.
Completely agree. I think if they adopt the same approach as last season and this season so far, and just go out there and play their game rather than play the other team's game, and I think that's what made the big difference last season. Just go and play your own game. It doesn't matter what the other guys do. You do your own thing.
Totally agree. And they've lost some of their big players as well from last season, and likewise they've brought in some decent players as well. Their goalie in particular, I've been reading loads of good things about him. He's been a 5-star signing for them, so it's going to be hard for us to break them down. And with Motherwell at the moment, I keep saying this to Peter, we don't really have that talisman. Maswanhise is wearing a mask. I say this with my tongue in my cheek. I think it's affecting him. I don't think he can see properly with this mask on, because he's just not getting the break of the ball. But we were saying that maybe Maswanhise, all the pressure, since the turn of the year, he's maybe just trying too hard, is what Peter says, and Walsh.
Possibly, sometimes, I remember watching games, and we had going back days, it's people like Stevie Cowan and some of the strikers we had, and they couldn't buy a goal, and then one would bounce off their backside and go in. You sometimes need that wee bit of luck. But you look at the goals Said scored last week. I mean, two outstanding goals, just fantastic. So a wee bit of magic like that, and you never know. You never know. I think you stay positive, and 7th in the Bundesliga. Yeah, so what?
7th in the Bundesliga is that they've lost some key players as well. Their season's not started yet, so hopefully they've had some friendlies and stuff, but hopefully they come in a wee bit rusty. We're now a good few games into the league, so that should go for us. There's going to be a massive crowd at Fir Park as well, which is going to be exceptional. Freiburg will bring a decent support as well, so it's going to be one of those nights under the Fir Park floodlights.
I'm hoping I can get it on Cosmo T. I'm hoping it's on one of the channels, so I'll be checking. Checking.
You need to go to your local taverna and have a chat with somebody and sort you out. Do you know what I mean?
It's funny. A lot of the tavernas locally, they don't have a lot of the football on. It's not like we're not in sort of really popular tourist area. It's more the locals. So there's very few local Greeks who only speak Greek. Who are thinking of watching the Motherwell game on Thursday night. But we'll see. I find I've got all the channels. So if it's on, I'll see it.
Aye, as I say. I mean, I know you can afford it. You could probably get the pass from Motherwell TV. It's not a lot of money. It's like, I think it's less than a 10. It's about a tenner a month or something like that, man.
I will look into that.
It's too big a night for you to possibly miss that. So just looking at stuff, nothing's broke yet from the press conference. That's why we're not chatting about anything about what Alfred's been saying about the match. We don't know anything about the injuries. There's a few injuries at the moment, which I'm hoping with resting those players and also the injuries weren't too bad. Hopefully, and a lot of them will be back for the game, because I think that's important as well for us to get our stability back
Yeah, we
that
need
we
we
had
need the
against.
we need the regulars and the first choice people out, definitely.
Here's an interesting thing, though. I was looking at some of these betting site things where they do the predictors for the games, and this kind of gave me a wee bit of kind of hope as well. This betting site doesn't matter, but gambleaware.co.uk, by the way, if you're if you want to check out and gamble responsibly, whatever you need to say to keep everybody happy. But they're predicting Motherwell 1, Freiburg 1 as a possible result.
We'd probably take that.
I would take it.
It'd be nice to sneak a win, but go out there level. Yeah, for the next leg, yeah, happily take that.
100%. So we're looking forward to that Thursday night. I'm going to make sure you watch this game. With an alcohol-free beer and alcohol-free beer, and enjoy the match with Motherwell TV. The other thing is, just before you go, all-time best Motherwell player. If we get people fans and expats and stuff on, favorite player.
There's so many. I mean, you got to go back to the older guys in the 70s. I mean, Joe Wark was just a complete stalwart. He was just there from his whole career. But I was brought up on a centre forward called Willie Pettigrew that some of the older people will remember. Probably those two are the ones I would pick as the all-time favourites. I will show you. I've actually got a souvenir, Crofty. I know it doesn't happen very often, but I've a signed Champions League ball from 2012 when Motherwell won the Champions League. Now that doesn't happen very often, so and I've got a few other bits and pieces that are down in my gym too. So I'll always Motherwell will always be here. I might not necessarily see all the games and watch everything, but it's always the result I look for at the weekend when I'm checking in, and it's just great to see how well they're playing and how well they're playing. Yeah, long may that continue.
And finally, score prediction.
I think it's going to be 2-1 Motherwell.
Take that. We'll take that. I would take 1-1. I must be honest, but I would also, if I'm going to be positive, 1-0 would be also really good. But we'll see what happens on Thursday. Craig, thanks so much for being on the podcast, being a Peter Elder stand-in.
If Peter's on a cruise, he might be. I don't know if he's coming anywhere near Greece, because Suda's just 20 minutes up that direction. So I can always meet him for a beer and we could watch the game perhaps if he's kicking around Thursday.
I'll drop him a message. I think he is touring round about that kind of neck of the woods, so you never know. He might be popping into town. That would be a laugh, wouldn't it?
That would be funny. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, mate. Listen, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Great to see you. Cheers, Crofty.